Hey everyone, on this episode of Cutting Through the Noise, we're talking about the traction channel sales. I think that's kind of funny because, in my opinion, most of the traction channels are used to ultimately increase sales, but here we're talking about how sales can actually be a traction channel of its own. We all know that sometimes our customers need a little bit of hand-holding, especially if you're working with other businesses or you're in a large enterprise type business. Sometimes sales is required in order to get people to commit to your product or service. When you are using sales as a traction channel, we see three distinct sections. So first is generating leads. Next is qualifying leads. And then finally, you have to convert those leads to paying customers. So while there's a lot that goes into each of those different sections of sales, we're going to talk about the psychology behind converting someone to a paying customer. My degree is actually in psychology, which a lot of people think is kind of funny when I tell them I work in digital marketing with a degree in psychology, but I think that they overlap very well, and you have to know how to work with people and understand people and the decision-making process in order to be a great marketer. So my first psychology sales tip is to make sure that you are a credible source. People like to know who they can trust for different topics. So make yourself an expert in your field, make yourself a credible source that can supply information regardless if someone's a paying client or not. Some of the other videos we've done, we've talked about kind of freebies that you can give your clients to help them jump on, or how to become a master in your field by writing blog posts. Check out our other videos on this channel for more information on that. But people like to know that who they're trusting with their business is a master in that field. So make sure that you are giving them that confidence. That means that you shouldn't be afraid to brag about yourself a little bit. Tell people the awards you've gotten, or the discoveries you've made, or even maybe a special person that you've sold your product or service to. Now that we're talking about people, we are going to dive into tip number 2 of the psychology of sales, and that is to rely on people's social nature. So we are social beings, obviously, and we like to rely on social proof. Whether you know it or not, it is very likely that you purchase products based on how people similar to you or people you know react to that product. That's why we see Instagram influencers being so huge in the world of marketing today. It's because people relate to them and they think that if, they're using that product or service, then I should be too. And so it's really important to make sure that you are giving your customers the opportunity to see that your idea, product, or service has social proof. That could mean showing testimonials on your website, asking people to share your posts or your product or service on social media. That could be rewarding people when they make referrals to your program. Anything that allows certain people to know that other people like them are enjoying your product or service. Moving on to tip number 3, we know that people have FOMO, or fear of missing out, if you've never heard that term before. And that applies to many businesses as well, products and services. First, they don't want to miss out on a coolness factor. They don't want to be the only person that's not using the new trend. If you're selling B2B, these people also want to make sure that they are not missing out on an opportunity to increase their sales or their business or make their business better. Bank on the fact that people are afraid of missing out on new opportunities. So make sure your product seems like something that they do not want to miss. So jumping into tip number 4, we know that people are more afraid to miss out than they are excited to gain. So a little bit different than a fear of missing out, a FOMO reaction. This is, they are more likely to make a decision based on what they have the potential to lose than what they have the potential to gain. For example, try telling your potential clients what they will not receive if they don't choose you. Maybe they will have to spend more time on something they really do not like. Maybe they will have to spend more money on something that is a waste for them. So that is kind of the same thing as saying you will receive more time or you will have more money to do other things with. But people don't view that as important as they do when you say, if you don't use us, you will have less time or you will have less money. So view what you have as what they might lose out on if they do not use your product or service instead of just what they will gain. So these next 2 tips will just warm your heart a little bit, knowing that we are assuming people are generally good. Tip number 5 plays off of that notion by saying that people love to reciprocate favors or kindness. So if you are offering your clients something for free, a discount, something that really benefits them, that they feel like is a favor and something that you did out of the kindness of your heart, they are more likely to reciprocate that by doing what you ask them, purchasing your product, leaving a review, whatever that looks like. Now, you don't want to give them an ultimatum saying, I will give you this discount if you leave a review, but instead you might say, here's a discount, and then a little while later, ask them to leave a review. They might not think in their mind, oh no, they gave me a discount, I have to reciprocate this kindness. But overall, we're all about kind of leveling the score with other people. And so we really like to reciprocate what others give us, including businesses. And so that is a good thing to keep in mind when you're trying to offer your potential clients some good deals. Another example of this might be offering a free trial of your product and then extending the free trial for them. Ultimately, they will feel like they should reciprocate the kindness that you showed them to help them progress their business or the job they're trying to complete in order to help you as well. Another way to use this idea that people are generally good is the foot in the door technique. And this is tip number 6. When you are trying to sell something to someone, typically going in for the biggest ask does not always get the best outcomes. There was a study done on this, and it showed that if you were to walk up and ask someone to put a giant stand in their yard supporting your cause, most of them will say no. However, if you walk up with the same graphic and ask them instead to put it as a small sticker in their window, many of them will say yes. And then next time when you come back and ask them to put something in their yard, they are way more likely to say yes than if you just started with the big sign. So for your business, try asking people to do little things. Ask them to try the free trial. Ask them to purchase a sample set. Ask them to tell their friends just a little bit about your business. Next, you might be able to ask them to make a larger purchase or even record a testimonial video for you. Start with a small ask, and once you have a foot in the door, people are much more likely to say yes to the big asks later on. So of course, there are many more ways to think about the psyche of your potential customer when you're making a sale. And these are just a few quick tips that we hope you can implement into your daily sales lives and maybe the way that you look at the communications you have with your customers. Again, we're assuming people are good, and that means that we're also assuming you are good. And so this isn't about taking advantage of your potential customers. This is about really knowing how to communicate the value of your product to them in a way that is effective and can help everyone get what they want. It helps your customer achieve the job they're trying to achieve, and it helps you advance your business. If you thought this was interesting, check out our podcast and blog post on the same topic, as well as our other videos on the other 18 traction channels. Have a good day and subscribe to our YouTube channel.